Bringing you up to speed on the life and times of the very first General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard. Of course, what a wild ride it was to find it and to restore it, and then to watch that car, go through Barrett-Jackson. Some people live their whole life to have the Barrett-Jackson experience, and man, I did it from afar, and we made a pocket full of money, and it went on to a good home. But we left it with the current owner being Bubba Watson. And Bubba Watson was an incredible caretaker for the car. He really knew top to bottom what it was, what it took to restore it, and where we are today with that car. Bubba ran into a bit of a problem because he was sponsored and is sponsored by quite a few different golfing outfits, and for lack of a better term. So Titleists or golf clubs, you can tell I know zero about golfing. He was enticed to put out a tweet years ago that said that he was going to remove the Confederate flag from the roof of the car. And I had that car repainted and the flag repainted exactly as it was Saturday, November 11th, 1978. I knew behind the scenes that was a tweet just to please a sponsorship company. But it put Bubba in a very difficult situation to be able to drive the car. He was going to pace the race at the Phoenix NASCAR race, and NASCAR was attempting to clean up their image from this good old boy Southern whatever racing series. And they asked him to remove the flag before he went out and did a pace lap before that. And Bubba refused. And Bubba decided to bow out of pacing the race. And they even offered to put like the logo for the Phoenix Speedway on the roof, this, that, and other. And Bubba said, thank you, but no thank you. So he really knew what it meant to the fans of the Dukes of Hazzard and the children like myself that grew up with the car, and not to deface the car. I mean, it is the Confederate battle flag, and it is General Lee's battle flag. So it's not General Grant. He's not going to put a stars and stripes on it. It is what it is. So like I said, it became a very difficult piece for Bubba to be able to drive. And there are countless videos of him and like Carl Edwards out at the driving range, driving the General Lee, the driving range, and different situations where Bubba would just be out and about in the first General Lee. But at that point, when it became too difficult to drive because he had put out a tweet that said he was going to remove the flag, if he showed up somewhere with the flag on the car, then there's a problem. So he put the car back up for sale. And he had done his own modifications to it and made it his own car because he's allowed to do that. And it just kind of made it a little bit better car, more drivable, better seats, better, and the windshield was replaced and some things. But it still remained the first General Lee. So Bubba put it back up for sale, and it was purchased by a young man that lives in Texas. And he is a terrific caretaker for that car. When he received the car, I believe it had a huge orange piece of vinyl on the roof over the top of the flag, and he has since removed the piece of vinyl off of it. The General Lee still wears its uniform. It had never been altered or changed. Just Bubba did what he said he was going to do, and he did not remove the flag off the car. He just covered it up just to make sure that he was appeasing a sponsor. At that point, the new owner has returned it back to the way it was when I owned it, and it is still running and driving on the same drivetrain. It has been shown at a bunch of Dukes of Hazzard events. The new owner is very good friends with John Schneider, and John is close with the car now. He's invited the new owner out to Bo's Extravaganza, which is John's Dukes event that he holds at his own house. And he invites all the Dukes of Hazzard fans down to Louisiana. And he unveiled the car again as General Lee #1, but no longer in Bubba's possession. It's now in the gentleman from Texas that now owns it. And like I said, he's reached out to me a few times for some questions and things like that. But it couldn't have gone to a better guy. I'm extremely happy of where it is now. There's no better place for it than with a true Dukes of Hazzard fan. Being the caretaker for the car was incredible, and it was lots of fun to own the first General Lee. But as you restore the car and as you take off some of history, for lack of a better term, just to restore it, some people start trashing you. You become the poster boy for the most hated citizen in Hazzard County. And for me, the Dukes of Hazzard was my life. And I grew up watching it, and I can tell you where I was on January 26th of 1979, and it was everything. But to have the hobby turn on you just because you fixed something that was destroyed, put a bad taste in my mouth, but I had since gotten over it. But then when they will call me and they will ask me questions, these will be the fans will say, hey, what is the color of the General Lee that we revealed right here? And what are this and what's that? And where's this location? I'm like, man, you were just trashing me 3 weeks ago, but now you want to know what I could do for you. A lot of that is water under the bridge now. I couldn't be happier that the car is running, driving, and happy and in good hands. But the road to get from there to this seat right here, it took a lot of healing. But it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. But I just asked for forgiveness for the Hazard County kids to say, I'm still a fan. But Dukes of Hazzard is not a documentary. So when we restored the car, we took the engine and the transmission out and sent it off to be rebuilt. So it runs and drives on the motor that it flew on. Of course, the rear end was bent like this. The whole front suspension was completely destroyed. The tunnel where the drive shaft goes had folded over the top of itself because it had crushed through as it came. So when it came to what was left of the actual car, and of course they had pillaged the car for parts too at that point. So the two doors, one was missing, one was used for another General Lee, but the windshield survived. So you can basically fillet the skin off of it. And back when we restored the car, there were no replacement parts. There was nothing, there's no, now you can buy basically an entire 69 Dodge Charger from AMD, and that did not exist. So we found a complete 1969 Dodge Charger that was a lowrider project, and it was a terrible idea to put hydraulics on a 1969 Dodge Charger, but it was never finished, but the body was completely mint. So everything from the upper firewall all the way down is all original. All of the floor pan and everything we actually were able to pull out and straighten up. The floor pan's original. So when you work your way toward the back of the car, the only aftermarket part that was available was a trunk floor, and we had needed a trunk floor because, of course, it had concrete in the trunk. So we used that, and then, of course, you clip a car. So just like Arnie's car that got hit on the Cannonball Run Mercedes, he needed an entire rear clip. And so we needed an entire rear clip. So we put an entire rear clip on the car and did it at the factory welds and everything, just like you would restore a car today. And that is exactly how we put the car back together. Of course, it needed a new rear end, needed complete suspension, but that's part of restoring a car. And that's what it took to restore the first General Lee. The door slammed straight. It runs and drives on its original drivetrain that it flew on, and it was not rebuilt with aftermarket parts. It was rebuilt with 1969 sheet metal. Leading up to the unveiling of the car, and we would bomb the internet with kind of spy shots and pictures, no one had a problem with us restoring the car. And then we unveiled the car, and it's just this beautiful thing. The city of Covington gave me the key to the city, of all things. And they have had movies from the Cannonball Run to the Heat of the Night. Oh man, countless things, including The Walking Dead and all kinds of different things that were filmed there. And they had never given a key to the city to anyone until I showed up with the first General Lee. And the mayor came out and gave proclamation plaque, key to the city, for restoring the first General Lee. And everybody came out, clap, 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 clap. But the minute I went home, it was like, my God, Travis has destroyed the first General Lee. Travis has taken what this Dukes of Hazzard relic and turned it into a restored car. It was just this massive slander campaign on how I destroyed the first General Lee. And the minute we unveiled it, they had no problem with it. But the minute I wasn't around, I was the biggest jerk in Hazard County. So it took a lot of healing and a lot of time to get over it. But, time heals all wounds. So
when you get a ticket, it might look something like this, but the first thing that you need to do is take a picture of that ticket and send it to 305-305. That will get the ticket clinic on your case immediately. They've got brick and mortar offices in Georgia, Florida, and California, but they can help you find a ticket no matter where you get it in the United States by helping you find a local attorney that will do everything they can to help you avoid costly fines, insurance premium increases, points on your license, risk of suspension, even jail time. They've helped me out with this ticket and many others, and a lot of my friends as well. So check them out now at the link in the description below, or again, text your ticket to 305-305 to get the ticket clinic on your case. They are the perfect partner in your fight against any speeding ticket.